off over there. Also, happy Norwegian Independence Day. I know that the greater Cleveland area, Northeast Ohio, has a lot of people who are of Norwegian descent. Poundcake told me this in the break. He said, make sure that you please notice Norway's Constitution Day, or Norwegian Independence Day, of course, is May 17th. So thank you for that, Cody.
You're welcome. You ever been to Norway?
Norway. I'd like to go at some point. You know, we have said over the years that we would make a trip maybe to see the Northern Lights. You know, if you go to Oslo and these other places, you know, Finland, Norway, certain times of the year, they have these glass igloos that you can rent and spend a number of nights there. And above you is the Aurora Borealis in all of its greens and blues and violet hues, whatever they got. I don't know. But boy, it seems like a long trip. So, you know, listen, if you know your Northeast Ohio history, you know how important the people of Norway were to this area after the Civil War and after, you know, there were longshoremen and there were dock workers and there were, you know, people of Norwegian heritage. I don't think that the language is really spoken locally that much anymore, but maybe your Norwegian grandmother can regale you with tales of...
That's where my dad went on his mission.
To Norway?
Yeah, he was in Norway for 2 years. And
did he learn the language?
70s.
Did he come back and flinga-dinga, hergen-flurgen?
He was in Norway. He was in Denmark, I'm sorry. But that's still in that vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
But he was fluent.
Well, listen.
2 years.
You want to talk about hitting a bullseye on your Mormon mission. That is an aggressively white country.
Right, but they're also aggressively not religious. So if you're going there to try and convert people, you're going to have a hard time.
Oh, they're agnostic at the very least? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or they're, you know, if they are religious, they're like, yeah, we don't need to change.
I thought it was all Lutherans. You mean converting them from Lutheranism?
You're trying to get them to be Mormon.
Yeah.
The Lutherans to Mormons, Lutherans are just as bad as any is being an atheist. Like
that true?
I mean, you want to be. They teach you that it's the one true religion. So
yeah, but every religion teaches you that. I mean, right. Islam teaches you that they're the last religion, not just the one true religion. We are the last religion.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's the whole idea, is that God restored His church, like He had it when Jesus was here. Then He took it away and He brought it back through Joseph Smith to teach the word of Jesus Christ. Like, whole thing.
When you were on your Mormon mission, and I can only assume that before you got a taste of the world, and you know that you were fully committed to that mission.
I was.
Okay.
It was making me sad.
So at what point when are you able to mark someone down as converted?
Baptism. You're going
so
for
you
baptisms.
go, hey, do you take the blah blah, and they go sure, and you pour water over their head, and you put a hash mark in your book.
You got to do a full baptism by immersion. So you got to fill up a font, and you splash them down in the water, bring them up. You got to be completely submerged for Mormon baptism.
So the prunier your hands are, the better of a missionary you are. Is that like a signal that you... is that
but I had some pruny hands at other points in my mission, but not from baptism.
So if your fingers are all pruny...
They were fully submerged.
Yeah. If your fingers are all pruny, would that otherwise be a good sign to show that you were converting a lot of savages?
Well, first of all, they didn't call them savages.
No, but that's what you think they are. I mean...
No, you don't think of them as savages.
Yes, you do. It's the same thing with...
You think of them as God's children. You're trying to bring them back to God.
Right, because they're savages. They need to find... What do you think the stereotypical missionary going into the heart of darkness was back in the day? They were trying to get savages who didn't know anything, according to them,
right,
to find God. So if you want to drill down deep enough, that's still what it is.
Yeah, I'm saying that's not the lingo we were using.
Well, no. I didn't think that was part of the vernacular, but, you know. Do you, savage, take the Lord as your personal whatever? So baptism is when you go... converted this guy.
Yeah, that's when they're converted. But then you also have to retain them, too, because it doesn't matter if they get baptism but don't go to church. You need them to keep coming to
That's
church.
the tough part.
That's the tough part.
You know how to
That's why
take
they-
the reservation.
Yeah.
You just don't know how to hold the reservation.
You know how to make the covenant. You don't know
Anybody
how
can
to
take reservations.
You know how to make the covenant. You don't know how to keep the covenant.
I see.
And that's the most important part of the covenant.
Do you have to go do like wellness checks on them? Yep. Keeping the covenant? Yep.
You just
saw you.
keep. I mean, you have visits.
It's like a lot of work.
Well, they got to keep us busy.
Right, but
I mean, we're not doing anything else when you're a missionary.
wow.
So you're just trying to, and what you're trying to do is help them get fellowshipped into that congregation so that they have other people that they relate to and feel supported by, so that they'll continue to go to church.
Now, are those people? Is it like a pyramid scheme? You're expect those people are expected to proselytize then?
No, it's fellowship. It's not proselyte at that point. The missionaries do the proselytizing.
Okay, so the people
then-
you convert, it's not like Avon where you're
Right,
now
no, no.
expected. You have like a downline and you have to get them to.
And it's also much more lucrative than a pyramid scheme because no one's getting paid except for the very top members of the Mormon church. That's why it's the richest church on the planet. Did you know that it's the richest church now?
Yeah.
It's like $100 billion.
Yeah.
Well, when you don't pay taxes,
Yeah.
it's like the Catholic Church
Well,
and their real estate holdings around the world.
But the
It's-
Catholic
it's
Church has
that-
been around for like centuries.
Right. The Mormons did this in
70,
200
50 years, yeah.
Oh, 200 years?
I mean, they started.
They're not that old, are they?
150, yeah. Probably 150 is when they were
And
established.
you just got like $100 billion just stocking it away.
Well,
Like,
yeah, when you get to keep all of it. And it seems keeping all of your worldly largesse, by the way, seems counterintuitive
Right.
to the religious mission, which is,
Well,
don't know.
that's the one thing I'm like.
give to Caesar what is Caesar's.
There's part of me that goes, well, God's church probably would be the richest church, but then you go, wait a second, but Jesus' churches
would be the
that.
poorest
It'd be the
church.
poorest church. They would never have anything.
'Cause they would have given all
they'd
their
give
money
everything
away.
Or they'd at least constantly be giving. And, I'm not Mormon anymore, but they do a lot of good for people.
Yeah.
They do a lot of charity work. They provide for hungry people and stuff like that. So they do a lot of that stuff that's very good. But the fact that they have $100 billion really does blow my mind.
They're up
mom
there with
just got-
Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos.
My mom just got a new calling in the Mormon church. She's in charge of they call it a stake, like the
STEAK?
STAKE.
AKE.
Yeah. And so she's the Stake Relief Society president, which is a big deal. And she texted our group chat on Sunday. She's like, guess who the new Stake Relief Society president is? It's me. And I was like, cool. How much does that pay?
Did she have to run for that? Is that an elected position? Is she
it's-
appointed? She was.
How do you not know how church works?
I don't know how the Mormon church
It's
works.
all inspiration.
Oh.
It's all divine.
Wait, she designated herself?
No.
Or other people said, God told me to make you the steak lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, the steak lady. That sounds great.
You are our
You're the steak
A1. You are our A1 choice for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's very excited about that.
Well, good. I'm happy for her.
I'm happy for her.
That's
too.
very important to her. I'm happy for her.
She's a
Very nice woman.
very sweet lady.
Okay, let me give you some money here. It's no $100 billion, but it's $1,000, and that can mean a lot to you. You go fund yourself. Good luck.
The Buzzard wants you to go fund yourself and score $1,000. Enter the nationwide keyword FUN at WMMS.com. That's fun. Enter it now at WMMS.com. And good luck from Buzzard Radio.
You like minor league baseball swag.
Oh, I love it.
Do you have any Savannah Bananas?
I don't, but
Have you been reading about them?
I watched this segment on SportsCenter about them a while back, and I've heard people talk about them on podcasts. It's really cool, but they're not a real minor league team. Like, they're not part of like single A or triple A. They're more like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Well, that's what it seemed like, but then I was reading, I thought that they did like some games all goofy, but then other regulation games they played other teams. Like they're playing the Kansas City Monarchs tonight.
Okay, so maybe. Okay, so
I think that they do some, hey, we're goofy, this is a fun thing to watch games.
Yeah.
And then they play like regulation games.
Okay. Because I thought they were just doing those games where they play one other team and, the
Washington Senators. What was the team that the Harlem Globetrotters? The
Senators,
yeah.
Or was it the Generals or Senators? What was it?
The Washington something.
Yeah.
Against the Harlem Globetrotters. Meadowlark Lemon and
Ted
Curly
Mosby would cheer for the
other team.
The other team.
Yeah.
I think it's the Generals.
Well, anyway, there's a lot of attention being paid to the Savannah Bananas, which, minor league baseball teams are looking for any kind of hook. They got weirdo names and they got funny mascots and they're doing all kinds of strange things. And Savannah Bananas will sell out their stadium. 7,000 people. They'll sell it a couple of games because they're out there doing weird stuff. Like if somebody catches the ball in the stands, the runner's out.
Yeah.
Or they'll
send people out on stilts. Or,
yeah, right. They're wearing yellow tuxedos and
they have to do some sort of dance.
Yeah.
They've really changed the way that you play baseball. And I think they speed it up too, where you can't step out of the batter's box.
And they've eliminated walks. So if you get like 4 balls, you still have to race. Right. You have to race around the bases.
Yeah. So this is how they do that. So if you get walked, every player on the defensive team has to touch the ball before you get tagged out.
Right.
So you can run to first base and just stay there, or sometimes these guys will get to like third base because they have to go through the entire field before they can tag them out.
Is this Savannah, Georgia? Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I love that. I think that's so much fun.
Choreographed routines in the outfield. And the games have a 2-hour time limit. So you in and you out. Traditionally over the 4th of July, we will go to a Lake Erie Crushers game because it's just fun. They do the fireworks. Our daughter likes it. They are fun. But they don't do anything like this. There's nobody out there on stilts. They don't have anybody, that'd be a lot of fun. If you're in the stands and you catch the ball, batter's out.
Yeah.
And so they've blown up on TikTok, and they said, we've got a lot of people coming out to these games. And again, these leagues don't pay anything, you know what I mean?
No.
Like these guys have day jobs. You're like a pharmacist, and then you play baseball at night. But, they've really kind of turned this into, I think the reason that this story is making the rounds is because they're basically the bigger picture is Major League Baseball could learn a lot in some way about how to have people less bored at the ballpark.
Well, yeah, because in Major League Baseball, anytime somebody shows any personality, the old-time fans are like, that's not how you play the game.
Right.
Someone hits a home run and flips a bat, people are like, I'm never coming to a game again. You flip the bat to celebrate a home run. Your job is to hit home run.
40 years ago, 40 million people would be watching the World Series. Now it's about 14 million people that watch the World Series. So obviously interest in baseball has waned over the years. But a team like the Savannah Bananas is getting a lot of attention for what they do
ring, 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 banana phone.
Right, on and off the field.
Ring, 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 banana phone.
I don't think that's their official walkout music, but it should be.
I don't think they're opposed to it. I think they probably just can't get the rights. Popular song.
They got to hit, what's the guy's name? Rafi. They got to call up Rafi and pay him some money. So anyway, if you are one of our listeners in Kansas City and you're going to the Monarchs game, you're going to see the very same Savannah Bananas. Take them on tonight. Preseason exhibition game.
Okay, so that's what I think they're doing. I think they're doing a tour now where they're playing minor league teams to kind of help them get some attendance up. Because if it's an exhibition game, it's not, it doesn't mean anything for their season.
Alan, I spent 2 years living in a small town just south of Madison, Wisconsin called Stoughton, and it's 100% Norwegian. I mentioned Norwegian Independence Day. Every year they go crazy for 3 days, right around this time of year. Well, yeah, it's Sitten de May, I believe, is the Norwegian 17th of May, and there it is. And who knows?
Why haven't we appropriated this one yet? I mean, we got Cinco de Mayo is a big deal now.
Sitting de Mayo.
Here, but it's not a big deal in Mexico, right?
Yeah, they don't really care about it in Mexico.
Can't we do something with this?
Well,
I'm always looking for another reason to be silly.
But Mexican food is great. You know, culinary stuff is a huge part of any cultural celebration. And if you've ever had Norwegian food...
Swedish meatballs?
It's what you... Well, that's Sweden.
Okay.
It's what you think it would be. It's a lot of cabbage. You like cabbage and mutton? Do you like a lot of that? Because that's... Yeah, well...
No, I don't. I guess I always think of Norwegian, not just as Norway, but like all those... countries, but that's not.
No, there's
how
the
it
Netherlands,
is.
there's Denmark, there's Finland, and they've all kind of got their own. I think they're all probably similar, sausages and meatballs and things like that. And it's, what we call IKEA food on this side of the pond.
What's their alcohol of choice? Because that can get a party started.
Oh God, what is that stuff? It's I don't know if it's Norway or not, but it's that stuff that's super, super strong.
I like that already.
What's it called? It's somebody will tell me. Aquavit.
What is that? I never.
Aquavit. It's potatoes and grain, and it's like crazy distilled, and it's crazy. The alcohol content is through the roof.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bottle of this tonight if I can.
You probably can. The trouble is, in Norway, they're really, really tight-fisted with selling alcohol. So, like, if you go to, like, you can't get anything over, you got to go to a bar, I think, for this kind of stuff. Like, you couldn't buy that in Norway, I don't think.
Well, we aren't in Norway, are we?
That's true. Flindekindefergen.
I wonder if it's available around here.
It might be worth looking into.
Yeah. I wonder what it tastes like.
Well, it probably tastes like grains, and it probably tastes like nitro vodka of some kind. Is Bill watching the show Under the Banner of Heaven? Have you heard about that? Andrew Garfield over on Hulu. It's from a book.
Yeah,
it's a murder in the Mormon church.
I haven't watched that yet, but I did start the Pentaveret, and it is very silly.
Yeah, but
quite stupid.
Is it funny?
It has made me laugh several times.
Okay,
and I'm kind of getting sucked in by the story now. I mean, it's like for every joke that lands, there's 3 that don't. Mm-hmm. So. You're going to have to put up with some... I mean, it's like a...
Is it one long Austin Powers sketch? Like, is that what it feels like?
Yeah,
okay.
It's basically a conspiracy theory meme came to life. Like, it's just all the conspiracy theory memes turned into a TV show.
And Mike Myers plays all the characters.
He plays most of the characters. You got a few other characters in it, but he's the majority of the characters. But they're funny. He's good at doing characters. So, I enjoy it. Enough. And I'm going to, I'm not saying this is the best show. I'm just saying I'm watching it.
Uh-huh. All right.
Yes. Watch it.
Well,
I'll give it an almost watchable.
I mean...
I'm powering through it. How about that?
How many episodes is it?
I think it's 6.
I texted... we're catching up on season 5 of Better Call Saul. We fell off Better Call Saul, and now we're devouring it. But they're on season 6 now, the final season. But we had to start season 5 because we haven't watched it. And our friend Roy Wood Jr. pops up in an episode.
I love Roy.
And I texted him. I said, hey, I'm catching up on season 5 of Better Call Saul. Very entertaining. The Pentaveret. I like that he took a line from So I Married an Axe Murderer and goes... You know what? I think I'm going to make a whole mini-series about that. I think I'm going to make what do they call it? A limited engagement special on just that 1 or 2 lines from So I Married an Axe Murderer.
The
Pentaveret. The Rothschilds. The Gettys. I've got to take a break. If you listen to the show on iHeartRadio, you can always leave us messages with the talkback button there. And if you want to text, 35192 for that, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox